Hey guys, welcome to our SoulFam Podcast, where I interview space holders from all over the world. I'm your host. My name is Karolina, and I'm the manifestation mentor. Today on the show, we have Taibala Rosner, the wealth and success embodiment business mentor. Welcome to the show, Taibala. How are you doing?
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Carolina. I'm so honored and excited to be here. I am feeling sensational and fabulous and lit up and ready to drop some truth bombs to your community today.
Amazing. I'm really curious about the sensational part of it because that leads me to my first question that I want to start with, which is how does sensuality relate to business? Because you're a success coach and wealth coach, but you're also an embodiment coach and you talk about sensuality and sacred sensuality, especially. So I'm curious about the link between these two.
Yeah, thank you so much for asking such an important question. And I think where people there's a misunderstanding of sensuality. A lot of people link sensuality to sexuality. And while those can be intertwined, they're actually separate entities. So sensuality, actually, by definition, is just the platonic relationship that you have with your senses. Right? So platonic, not sexual, just the relationship that you have with your sense of smell, sense of sight, your touch, right? So when we can link and start to develop a close relationship with our senses, which is really just bringing presence into your life, awareness, presence, slowing down, right? When we can bring that awareness and that presence into any area of your life, but really into your business, you're able to look at each element of your business and really feel into it. So when you're creating content, really feeling into, wow, like the value that I'm providing someone, how I get to show up and change someone's life today, or the celebration for showing up, or sharing from your heart vulnerably, or putting your offer out there, you get to bring presence and excitement and celebration. Or maybe there's resistance or ickiness, and you get to kind of feel into what's going on in my body, because the body, in my experience, what I've observed and what I teach, is your body is actually what runs the show. We think it's our mind, right? It's like the mind, we think, so therefore that's what we think is driving this ship. But it's really, if we tap into our senses and bring more presence into our life, it's what's going on in our body, and that is a compass to be able to tell us where we're at in our life and what feels good, what feels a little bit icky, where can I sit with this, and what stories am I telling myself from this emotion, from what I'm feeling inside of my body, if that makes sense. So sensuality, as it pertains to business, is really just bringing awareness to what feels really, in my mentorship, like yummy and delicious and expansive and exciting. And if it doesn't, how can we start to shift some of those things so that it feels really exciting and expansive and delicious, where we want to show up, where we are proud to put our offers out there, where we're proud to sell every single day, right? It's because selling, again, people really misconstrue selling. They think it's a transaction or that you're taking from. When you're selling your program, you're collaborating with someone. You're helping someone to unlock the best version of themselves, or help provide them with the transformation. There's collaboration in that. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I feel like sensuality in this sense is so important. As you said, like it's presence, right? So it's being connected, being in touch with every single moment of your life. And then from there, you can have immense flow of creativity. You can have intuitive downloads, and even sexuality, if we take it, as like something that is associated, even sexual energy is also the creative energy. It's also the life force that we can utilize for creation of our business and our ideas and everything. So I think it's so important to talk about it. And thank you so much for sharing your perspective on it. I absolutely love it. That's great.
And
so
I wanted to add to that, in terms of like the sexual energy. You'll realize that the more you tap into your senses, meaning like the more you bring awareness, to me, the easiest thing is food. Right? Because food, you can see it, you can taste it, you can touch it, you can smell it. So when you actually slow down and you are really enjoying and tasting the food, and you're smelling it, and you're really feeling into it, and you have active appreciation and gratitude, you can actually start to feel your sexual energy come online, right? That that you'll feel that movement inside of you. You'll start to salivate. You'll be like, oh my gosh, so gorgeous. Like, the taste so delicious. So you can actually utilize, like you were saying, your sexual energy in a really beautiful way when channeled directly, right? When channeled appropriately, or whatever you deem appropriate. But however, I use my sexual energy to build my business and transmute that sexual energy into my business, into my clients, into my zest for life, into just having fun and not necessarily being sexual or like having, using it for sex, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also related to the chakra system, because like in the chakras, sexual energy is usually the first two chakras, and also like abundance and business and money and all these things are also in these areas. They are like responsible and linked to our safety, our financial safety, our creativity, our pleasure. So it's all interlinked. So once we open up in one way, we also automatically open up in the other way, because the energy flow in these specific energy centers is higher. So then we activate all of it, which is great. And I absolutely love it. All right. Amazing. And so I have a question about like sales and marketing for coaches, because I'm also in the position where now I've just created a whole new offering, and I reprogram everything that I was doing in my business before, because I felt like, oh, if I just continue doing what I did before, I'm going to be burnt out, because I'm not as passionate about like, being only a coach. I want to be a teacher. I want to teach more. I want to create my own modality. I want to, grow bigger. And so I have a few questions about that, because I feel like a lot of coaches might be on the same journey when they want to step into something bigger than them, but it might be overwhelming. It might be a lot of work. It might be something completely new. And so first question that I have is like, how do you feel, or what do you feel is the most important thing to know? Or we can start from like the biggest blocks that you see, and then the solutions for that, for people who are still struggling with the inconsistent income as a coach, because obviously it's always going to be like shaky in business. Like I feel like all the big business people say like you have ups and downs and you just got to kind of deal with it. But you can have a specific level that you just don't go below, because that's consistency, right? So what would be your tips for consistent income? And maybe also, what blocks do you see in people? Like how are people blocking themselves? Because I'm guessing that it's a lot about beliefs and the mindset, and also probably some actions. But I'm curious about your perspective about this topic.
Yeah, I love this topic. Thank you so much for addressing this. And this is something that's rooted in my mentorship, which is the subconscious rewiring around next level prosperity or money, and there's a lot of different types of programs and limiting beliefs that people have in programming conditioning when it comes to money, and everything that, and I'm sure you know this already, but like our subconscious mind is formed from ages 0 to 9 years old, essentially. So how we perceive the world, how we perceive ourselves, what we think about money, our values, like the things that we believe in, really were formed from that time period of our lives. So we learned a lot of these behaviors from our caretakers, from school, from anyone having conversations around us, right? So it's like, and we're sponges at that age. So we're constantly taking in information, and we don't know if it's right or wrong, right? We just take it in as a child, right? So a lot of people, what I see when the men and women come into my community is there is a lot of blockages around worthiness, and then so worthiness to receive, and then money, and what they link their worth to money, and what they make money mean. And from my standpoint, what I've observed is money it provides choices, and it's an energy, and everything is energy, right? And that's like quantum physics now, the most cutting edge science states that everything is energy. So what I have found is when we start to dig deeper and do some self-inquiry and understand where our beliefs are around money and do the work around that, we can then start to unlock new ways of feeling into receiving, what it means to receive, right? What it means to put our offers out there, what it means to back ourselves when we're putting a price tag on what our programs are, right? And though it starts from those ages. So we really get to look at, the story that I have around money, is it actually mine? Whose story is this? Where did this come from? And like, yes, this requires self-inquiry. This requires deep reflection. So if you're currently someone that is struggling with this and you feel like it has to be hard, or you're feeling like it has to be inconsistent, that's not, well, whose truth is that? Is that your truth? Right? That's certainly not mine. And I've spent the time, and in my community, people hire me to help them spend the time to do it, because they're sick and tired of feeling this way. They're sick and tired of feeling like they can't make enough money, or that it's inconsistent, or that it has to be hard, because it doesn't. And when you get to a point where you can like energetically raise your minimum of what's required, like, or what you expect in your life, right? Because there's also like, there's a level of this journey where like you believe that it's possible for you, which is great. However, you don't expect it. And that mindset shift of like, I believe that it's possible for me and I expect it, is a whole new fucking game. And when you expect it, you're going to show up as the person that expects that. So you're going to be consistent. You're going to look at sales in a new way. And there's work, again, that gets to be done behind the scenes of that. But that's like the biggest roadblock I see, is people's worthiness. And then around just receiving money and what their relationship is with money. And especially in the spiritual community, I love my conscious community and my brothers and sisters in the space that want to do good and have gifts to share, but they feel bad charging a certain amount of money. And the reality is, we need you, heart-centered, conscious leaders, making a fuck ton of money, because you know what to do with that money. We know what to do with that money. And when you have money, it provides more choices for you to hire the team, to get all your information out on YouTube and on TikTok and on Pinterest and on LinkedIn and the podcast and the retreats. But it starts with charging high premium. And I will say that money for people is an energetic commitment to self. When people pay, they pay attention. Someone that's going to a free event or a $20 event may have a serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine hit from the sound bath or from the Reiki or whatever, right? Does that oftentimes make the most substantial change? No. When they pay $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, you best believe their higher self is showing the fuck up in that container, right? That's their edge. And when you are at your edge, when you are out of your comfort zone, you show up and you value it that much more. And that's my belief, and the people in my community. That's that's the work. Like, the money is the glue between me and you. It's so that you are showing up, your highest version of yourself is showing up today. And I only speak to the highest version of you. And that's what money can allow you to do, that. And if that's not where you're at in your life, then of course, like the free events and the $20 events, like keep putting yourself at your edge, so that you start to adopt the traits and qualities that you want to start embodying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I resonate with it a lot. And I literally just had a conversation with a friend of mine, because we are launching this book in Poland, and we were talking about the price. And I literally said the exact same thing. Like, if people pay more, they will implement, because it's like the first step to be engaged in it is to pay for it. And then if you already have this big step of investing in something, you're investing your time or your money or your energy, then you're more likely to invest yourself more in it, because it's like you're already in this energy of, I'm investing my energy, my money, my whatever else into this thing. And I'm a walking example of it. I've had, let's say I got a course about the coaching from my friend that is like worth maybe $30,000, and I started it and I still want to continue it. But then on the way, there was something even cheaper, like, in when it comes to the pricing, but I paid for it. And then I was super invested in it, even though the course that I've got for free is probably worth more and maybe has more value, or maybe, and I still want to continue that. But I don't know, I just resonated with my friend's offer, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And I did all of it, like, without skipping a lesson. So I'm a walking example that this is how it works. And I truly believe that this is a psychological principle. It's not only us. But coming back to this consistency, so that's interesting that you only talk about mindset, really. Like, it's only about our energy, it's only about our beliefs. You don't say, okay, in order to be consistent, you need to do this much and this much on social media, you need to have this and that.
Well, look,
that's like the biggest piece, right?
It's in my world, it's 50% strategy and it's 50% energetics. And I actually think that it's now probably like 60% energetics, 40% strategy, probably even less. Like your belief in yourself, your belief in your offerings, your belief in what you've put together for the world, the more you back that, you back yourself, you celebrate the fuck out of what you've created, when you know that this is going to change someone's life, regardless of the results in your quote unquote reality that you have not seen. When you are in alignment with that, you're going to see results, and you're going to want to show up because you're passionate and excited by it. Right? When we doubt ourselves, when we're unclear, when we don't know how to communicate who we're talking to, and we're like, I don't know how to get out of what I call friend energy. Like if you're on Instagram and people are talking to you and they're inspired by you, and they tell you that you're so inspiring and they want to talk to you, but they're not converting, that gets discouraging. So there is some strategy to that. However, when you back and you're like, I fucking know this works. I know this works. I know this is going to change your life because it's changed mine. That energy is felt, and it doesn't actually matter what you're saying. It is what is felt. So I believe in the energetics first and foremost, and there is strategy. So what I'm going to say in terms of strategy is like, you fall in love with the art of selling. You fall in love with sales. Okay. So many people, especially the divine
How
feminine,
do we do that?
the divine feminine that come into my space, that just they fear being in their masculine. They want to be in flow. They resist the sales. And like, that's the thing that's going to actually catapult their business, that what they're resisting, and it's like, how I view sales and what I teach is that sales it's collaboration. It's a collaborative effort. It's not just a transaction. You are not just merely taking from someone. Sales, making money, it's an energetic exchange. Someone is paying you for you then to be lit up with the energy to give to that person to make that transformation. So I actually look at it as like a really beautiful collaboration. I look at sales as transformation. It's transforming someone's life. And there is a formula to like learning how to ask really deep, powerful questions when you're on a sales call or when you're in the DMs talking to people. There are certain frameworks, and that's the masculine energy. So in my world, I play with the masculine energetics and the feminine energetics, and it's really fucking crucial to have both. And today's modern societal of like of a woman, many of them are in their wounded masculine. It's underdeveloped, and it's hurting, it's grinding, it's hustling, it's self-sacrificing, it's this pressure, this energy, go, go, go. And it's not our fault. Like we are, at least in Western culture, it's a performative culture. You're praised for working hard and studying and memorizing. And, for women, we have programming of thousands and thousands of years of just being looked at as property. And can we make a baby? And then about 50 years ago was the first time that we could have a checking account without a man. So then we went into this like feminism movement, hyper independence of like, fuck a man. I don't need a man. I can do it all on my own. And that's wounding as well. Right. So it is so crucial to blend and have a really healthy balance of your masculine energy and your feminine energy. And I just start to really develop communication. Like when I'm doing something that is masculine energy, I honor my masculine. I talk to my masculine. I thank my masculine for getting it done. And then I tap into my feminine and I go to the beach and I will regulate myself and just lay and rest. Or I will put on a music and I'll do an embodiment practice, or I'll journal, or I'll meditate. And then I get into business, right? And then I honor and acknowledge. And it's like, once you start to develop that rapport and you feel, you're going to feel so fucking accomplished because you're bringing awareness. Again, that's your senses. You're bringing awareness and presence to what it is that you're doing. And you feel proud. You feel proud of your masculine. You thank your masculine for knowing my masculine is allowing my feminine to feel safe to go to the beach or go rollerblade or go take an hour off or a half an hour off if I desire to just be with myself, because you know that you've got your own back in that way. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's amazing. This is an amazing approach to really honor and be grateful for both of these parts of you, because sometimes, yeah, we resist one of them and then it's not serving us at all because it's one within us anyway. So if we resist ourselves, it's just a disaster, a recipe for disaster.
Totally.
But so
Totally.
you also mentioned in here that like let's say 40% of that is strategy. And I saw, I think, one of your posts on Instagram about you don't have to have a big following in order to actually make money, right? Because like, I think that's also one of the limiting beliefs that people have. And like, if you look at it from a percentage perspective, let's say I have a little bit over, 2000 followers or something like that on Instagram, right? So if I take like, 10% of these people, there are like 20 people, right? So, or not, am I right? Am I correct?
Oh,
I mean 1%. 1% is like 20 people. So, and it's kind of possible to maybe convert like 1%, right? It's only 1% out of 100. So yep. If I take 20 people who would be willing to work with me, right, and then I convert at least like 2 of them or 3 of them, and I have a high ticket offer, then I make quite a lot of money. But then how do you navigate or how do you even form, because I'm guessing that it's about the specificity of your niche, and then if you really talk specifically to some people, they resonate with you so much that they are just willing to buy from you, right? But like, how do you navigate it? And is it even like a correct approach that you just really need to nail the niche? And if yes, then how do you decide what niche is actually good for you? Because for me, for example, I feel like I could go in so many different directions. I could go in the version of me 5 years ago, or in the version of me 3 years ago, or in a completely, different direction with the, let's say, taking all the clients that I've helped the most, and I, niche down to these kind of people, right? Which is not kind of like me, but I help them the most. So how do you discover the niche, and then how do you navigate so that you can actually convert all these people that follow you, even if you have only like 1,000 or 2,000 people?
Yeah. So thank you for this question. This is so important because I work with many influencers who have hundreds of thousands of followers who are not making any money because their content is not specific enough. Their content is speaking to a broad range of people, or maybe something went viral, or they're doing something that's like more generic. So it is really important, especially when you're first building a business, like the bigger that you get, you can cast a wider net. You can reach more people because you've built that foundation. When you're first starting out in a business, it is really important to get narrow and specific so that your communication, your content is directly speaking to that one person. I would rather have you speak to single moms who are looking to become photographers or whatever it may be, versus like helping men and women get into a relationship, right? So because then your content is speaking directly to a mother who desires to live out this dream of being a photographer, and you're identifying her pain points and getting to what her pleasure is and speaking to the empowered version of her, she's going to be like, holy shit, Karolina's in my head. She's speaking directly to me. And so those 20 women will be your clients who buy from you. And if you have a strategy of how to retain those clients, keep them on a client journey, they will continue to buy from you. Most of my revenue comes from retaining clients, not necessarily new clients. And there will be a balance of that, of course. When you're first starting out, you're going to get new clients. Then there will be a part in your journey where most of your income is coming from the similar people because you gave them an incredible transformation. They had amazing results. You're always evolving and learning and coming up with new offerings, and they want to be a part of your world still, right? So in terms of the niche, look, I've also learned that there's 3 or 4 niches that do really well, like health, making people money, health, relationships, like how to get into a relationship, how to make money, your health. I forgot what the other one was. However, that's based on strategy, and there's an energetic piece that goes into this. And if you don't back it, if you're not into it, and I'll give my own experience, like before I was business coaching, I was just doing women's embodiment mentorship. And that lit me up and opened up my life in so many ways. It was so expansive. I had never felt more aligned with what I was doing. And then when I moved into business mentorship, I actually felt like, okay, now I need to kind of like, quote unquote, like prove myself that I can help people build a business. And I went really into my masculine, and I almost abandoned the women's embodiment piece. And it took me losing myself to then come back home to myself again, to be like, this is what my truth is. My truth is I'm going to help you build a business with the masculine and the feminine, and showcase your radiance and your magnetism with lean forward energy in terms of marketing, and then lean back in terms of attraction marketing. And there's a way to do that and bring back the energetics of it and not just the strategy, right? So that was like where I'm out of alignment, and I watched it affect my business because I wasn't doing what lit me the fuck up. What was my truth? I was doing it for what I thought people wanted, right? So it is really important that when you're building a business to be mindful, again, tap into your senses, tap into your body, bring awareness. Am I actually lit up and excited by what I'm doing? Am I doing this because I think this is what's going to make me the most money, quote unquote, right? Or even the client's transformation, what feels true to you? Because when you are in alignment, that is what's felt. That is what's felt, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But also, I feel like sometimes there are situations where when you charge more money, you actually lit up more. So then it's more aligned, because like sometimes you just need to raise your price because you feel like, okay, I've grown, I've actually experienced so much, and I helped so many people. So now I'm actually worth more. And once you raise the price, you can actually be lit up more naturally, because it's just the energy balance is going to be more in alignment, just simply, right?
It's an energetic exchange. Money is an energetic exchange. Somebody desires your services and you have a wealth of knowledge and wisdom and gifts to share, and it's your time. Like, yes. So when you raise your prices, that's going to provide more energy to you and allow you more choices in your life. Of course, that's going to like make you feel even more aligned or more alive or more excited, which is a beautiful thing.
Amazing. And so that brings me to this question of selling high ticket offers, because we're talking about raised prices. And I understand, from what I understand anyway now, I'm actually, just to give you a little bit of background to all my listeners, I'm not really a business person that much. I mean, now I am a businesswoman, but I've been just YOLOing in my business for the last few years. I started it when I was still with my ex-partner, who was a business savage. He knew everything. So I didn't really need to do much. I didn't really need to bother. But then we broke up around 2 years ago. So I needed to kind of like stand on my own feet. And now I just need to figure this shit out on my own, which is great. But I also have been just YOLOing it for the last 2 years. And now I'm on a journey to actually make, millions. And so just to give you a little bit of a, backstory, because that's why I'm not an expert in what I'm talking about. But from my understanding, what I learned is that if you sell like high ticket offers, it's actually the best for you, because even if you only make 1 or 2 sales, let's say for 5 or 6K or whatever, it's easier for you to convert like only 2 people, let's say, and then have money to invest in anything, like in ads, in agency, in whatever else, like editor or assistant or whatever else. And then you can just grow like faster, because if you only focus on like low ticket offers, you're actually going to put the same amount of energy into, let's say, a sales call, or the same amount of time, but then you might as well sell something for 5K, not 1K, if you're already or for an hour on the call, right? So that makes more sense, just when it comes to just effectiveness, and also when it comes to the strategy and like how you can build your business, because it's not only about maintaining it, it's just about building it and growing, right? So first of all, do I understand it correctly?
So first I want to say that there are many different strategies. So I'm not gospel, right? This is what I teach. This is what has worked for me and the men and women in my community. And if you've been taught something else and that resonates with you, again, it's like, what resonates with you? What feels good and true for you? Then do that, So I just want to say that first and foremost. Second, what I teach is, if you are someone that is at inconsistent $5,000 to $10,000 months, what I would be focusing on is a couple of things. I'd be focusing on a high ticket offer, like you just said, because you're right, you only need 1 or 2 to convert. Like that would be my main focus, having like a really solid one-on-one high premium offer, and then having a group coaching program, something that is scalable. Okay, because there's only so many hours in a day, so many hours in a week that you can handle one-on-one clients. And one-on-one is the closest proximity to you. That's going to require a lot of energy with someone. So if you're someone that has like 10 one-on-one clients a week, like I don't even recommend that. I don't even do that. right? Because I know myself, I know my energy levels, especially if you're someone like I'm a projector in human design, like my energy is fucking everything and I gotta rest. And I'm pregnant and I'm like, I gotta rest. So I only recommend like 6, 8 max one-on-one clients that is going to allow you to still resource yourself and take care of yourself, build your business, live your life. So you want also like a group coaching program, because once you're like capped essentially at whatever energy level feels for you. So let's say you can do more one-on-one. So you can do 10, you can do 15. Okay. At some point you're going to be capped. A group coaching program is what's going to scale and sustain, because you can teach one to many versus one to one. And there is strategy to that as well. Like in my world, I have different energetic boundaries of what I offer in one-on-one versus group coaching containers, so that I preserve my energy and the people that are paying high premium get the closest proximity, which is to me. So there's different strategies within that. So I would be focusing on one really high premium, solid one-to-one offer, and then one or more, and which is their strategy to that as well, group coaching program that you can scale and sustain, so that you can fit 10, 20, 30 people. You're charging $500 or $1,000 or, 888 for a group coaching program, but you get, and that takes time to build. It takes time to build brand awareness around that. So that's why one-to-one, if you're selling that every day and talking about the importance, you'll get people. And at the same time, simultaneously, you are building brand awareness for a core signature group program or programs. Over time, that's going to fill up. So maybe you start out with 2 people, and you start out the next time you run it and it's 5 people. And then the next time you run it, it's 8 people. And then it becomes 12 people, and you're charging $800. That's a lot of money, having 20 people at $800 or $1,000. And what happens is when you start to fill up your group programs, you become more in demand. People want more of you. So then you can raise your prices, and then you can get to a point where you have the choice. Do I actually want one-on-one in my life? When I'm making $30, $40, $50, $60,000 from these group programs, do I want one-on-one? And if so, how much do I want to charge? Because people want it. People are going to be asking for you, right? So I would be focusing on those 2 things. And then I'd be focusing on really nurturing and building community, your platform. So that's like doing IGTV lives, hosting free masterclasses, let people get a chance to see what it's like to be in your world, right? Before they commit. Some people need that. And there's also strategy in terms of what I call buyer sophistication. Like buyers buy differently, people buy differently. There's strategy to that, right? So understanding how people buy, and at what point in the process when you're launching something, how do people buy? And then if people want a taste of your world, that's another thing. And then I would be focusing on cross collaborations, getting on other people's stages. If you're concerned about your follower count, which you don't have to be, however, if you are, collab, do IGTV lives with other people, get on other people's stages, so that people learn more about who you are, who you be, what your offering is, and then they give you a follow. And then who knows what happens? You can end up getting clients from that space, or more, or loyal followers, like fans, people that support you, that love you, or they know someone that knows someone. Like there is unlimited possibilities. And that's the energetics of life. Instead of this scarcity, limited resources, there are unlimited possibilities. Unlimited resources, unlimited. There's 8 billion fucking people in this world, and people being born every single day. Like, you never know. Your $20,000 client is waiting for you just to put the offer out there, but you're not putting it out there. And by you not putting it out there, they don't know that it's available. So of course they're not just gonna go into your DMs and be like, hey, here's $20,000. But they would if you are consistent in showing up in what this offer is and why it's gonna fucking change their life.
Wow, absolutely. I love your flow. I love how passionate about it you are. So do you have any like hacks and tricks for selling this kind of program? Meaning, for example, maybe you need to have specific mindset, as we were talking about, like worthiness, right? You need to feel like you're worthy of charging it, because like, and you need to believe in your product enough to even emanate the energy that it's worth it. Because like otherwise, if you don't believe in what you're selling, people are going to feel it, as we mentioned. But are there any like maybe more technical tips and tricks that you could share about selling high ticket offers?
Yeah. And well, first and foremost, it's like there's energetic work behind that, subconscious rewiring work behind that. So that requires a much deeper conversation. But I will say, I will say, you want to get to a place where it feels like a stretch and it does not fully dysregulate you. Like it feels like, ooh, this is an edge. Like I've never charged for this before. And I'm excited by it and a little nervous, but not fully dysregulated. Because like if you're dysregulated by it, then you're not going to get behind it. If you can feel like this is an edge for me, this is exciting, this is an edge, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to be consistent in that, your worth will come by you taking action. Your worth will come more by you just doing it and being consistent in that. You'll start to neutralize and normalize that uncomfortable stretch. That's in anything. The more you do something, the more you normalize it, the more you neutralize it, right? So it's like the more I go into an ice bath, you know, like, yes, I still have the thoughts right beforehand that are like, and then I started to crave it, right? You start to neutralize that. When I get into a sauna, you know, when I started working out, like when I started to eat healthy again, when I start anything, it's like it feels uncomfortable. And then the more that you do it, you start to normalize it and realize that wasn't a fucking big deal. Like I survived. And then energetically, there are people that are a vibrational match. There are people that are a vibrational match for your free content. There are people that are a vibrational match for your low ticket offer. There are people that are a vibrational match for your high ticket offer. However, you won't know if you're not putting it out there. So, you know, like they say industry standard is 1,000 for coaching is like 1,000 a month. So if that's what your baseline is, or maybe you're at 800 a month right now, like whatever, again, is a stretch that's not going to totally dysregulate you. And it's about standing firm in that. And you can also get creative. Like in my world, in my mentorship, I help you create an ascension model. So like different tiers of pricing options for someone to work with you, so that you have what I call like a holy fuck offer. That's like, holy shit, this is a stretch. This is like fucking wild. And I don't actually expect anyone to sign up for this. I just am doing this so that I can practice saying it out loud. And you'd be surprised how many of my clients will get on those calls, get on a sales call, and will say that holy fuck offer just to practice saying it. And how many people sign up? Because they're ready for it and they desire it, and they've addressed their pain points and have spoken to the empowered version of them to get them to their pleasure, and they are ready. And when someone is fucking ready, they will do whatever. They will get so resourceful. I've had people tell me they have no money. They have borrowed money from their parents, have borrowed money from friends, have gotten loans, have taken out 2-3 credit cards. When someone is ready, they are going to be resourceful and will get it done. So I help create an ascension model where there are different tiers, so that if someone feels like a yes to you, and maybe they're still have their own limiting beliefs around, you know, money, but you still have an offer for them that's still within your world of like, this lights me up still, versus just bringing somebody on because you want to just take anyone. That energy is like needy buy or die energy. And like, you don't want that. You're going to end up resenting your business. The more people that you take on, and you are lowering your rate and your value and just taking someone to take them on, you will end up resenting your business, resenting the client. And that's not why you got into doing this. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, that would be like a strategy, is like just creating a range within yourself. And something that I like to say to my clients is like, what's your monthly what's your monthly nut? What are your bills? How would start there? How much does it cost? So in an ascension model in my world, I give you a range of what is still going to be within the means that's going to energetically light you up, right? So a lot of coaches, because they don't get on many sales calls, they don't have a lot of clients coming in necessarily. When they do, they end up having this like needy kind of buy or die energy. And they end up lowering their cost of their programs or lowering their one-on-one just to get someone in the door. And that energy is felt. And then you end up resenting your business, resenting the clients, and you didn't get into business for that reason, right? So something that I like to ask my clients is, what is your monthly nut? Meaning, what are your bills? How much does it cost for you to live every month? And you can base your coaching around what's going to, and this is an illusion of safety, but like what's going to feel good where like the bills are covered, where you have enough for food, where you have enough to keep the lights on, when you have enough to go out and live your life at some point. So, because that's going to energetically light you up to show up, right? So that would be like my minimum. Like, what do I need to survive every single month? And I can charge based off of that so that I feel really good knowing that like I'm good this month. Everything is covered. I have everything that I need. I can show up not from a dysregulated place, from a real excited place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing all that. And I really resonate with that because I also feel like sometimes I jump on a sales call with people and they are not able to pay me the high ticket offer price, but I still want to help them. Like I still want to give them something that they can start with. And then once they start there, like, I'm a manifestation mentor. So I teach people how to manifest. And I have this coaching program where I teach how to work with subconscious, conscious, and superconscious mind to really be in alignment, to bring our manifestation with more ease and with pleasure and joy rather than struggling and like working hard and so on. But I still want people that cannot go on deep journey with me to have something. And so I have a masterclass that people can buy for lower price, and then I have free meditation that they can utilize. I have free podcasts that they can also get a lot of value from, and really learn the basics of that. So I really resonate with having like a offer for everyone, really. Like, I mean, because you don't have to create like so many different offers. Like, I mean, if you have like 3 or 5, you're pretty much like hitting everyone, like everyone is able to afford some of them. So, or even if they are not, they can still get immense value from all your freebies, right? And as you mentioned, like you need to also give away for free your energy so that people can get to know you, so then people can resonate with you or not. They can just discover whether you're the coach for them, which is really, really great. I loved everything that you shared, and this is so amazing on my journey now when I'm like just starting with my program, to hear all about it, because I feel like I really needed to anchor all these perspectives that you've shared. So I'm super, super grateful. But do you have any other things that you would like to share about this ascension model? Because like that's what I'm also aiming for, and I also want to combine it with the certification program. So I've created my own modality. That's what I teach, right? So I have a master manifestation method training. That's what it is for me. So I want to teach people how to do it for themselves, but then how to actually do it for other people, how to change their beliefs, how to work with others as a coach, and have this methodology, being able to run meditations for them, being able to help them tap into their intuition. And then the third level, I want to have coaches or instructors teaching the modality, so that I can be at some point maybe hands off and just hold it all and just check it all, and so that people can spread, because I'm not going to be able to teach everywhere in the world, and I want this to spread everywhere in the world. And that's what excites me the most. And that's why I even do a lot of work now, and I'm really big on building the business and actually like doing the stuff, because as you said, I found this excitement, I found this big vision, I found my why, because I literally want everyone to know how to manifest, how to change their beliefs using the state of super learning, so that it's quick and you can like transform everything rapidly. And I really want everyone to connect to their intuition and manifest from that space, not only from their mind but also from the heart. And so when I have this why, it just gives me energy, and it doesn't matter that I'm like working a lot, or I have to show up, or I need to learn a bunch of things. I just do it because I really feel like I want to do it. And that's the excitement that you were probably talking about, right? Like when you get up and you're like, okay, I'm super tired because I just spent, hours the whole day yesterday working on it, but I see my why and I go for my vision, and I want everyone to experience this amazing thing that I've experienced. So yeah, I'm really, really glad that you shared all that. And curious if you have anything else to add to this ascension model and combining it with a certification program when it comes to a tip or maybe mistakes that people do, and then advice based on that.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm super excited for you. I love hearing your vision and I feel your passion, how lit up you are. And really ultimately it's like that is what will drive you for sure. And also to, yes, when we're tired or we've done a lot, but our vision is driving us, we actually feel more energized by that and also desiring for you to like, I mean, to rest and to honor that as well. Honestly, what I would say is it's like speak when you're talking about your offer, it's speaking about the offer, it's educating people about what the offer is and speaking to the most empowered version of that person. So it's like if you're desiring to create the certification, it is sharing your vision, sharing this vision because people will back your vision. People that share that same belief, people that desire that for themselves, once they feel into your vision, they can get behind that and they're like, wow, this is actually for me. So I would say it comes down to like your messaging, how you're communicating what your offer is, what the certification is, and the why behind the certification. That vision is what will move mountains. That's what will get people on board. So really like and also you don't need to just focus on one offer. You can offer many things. Like humans are smart, right? People know the difference between a low ticket offer and something free versus a certification versus a high premium. So don't be afraid to have many offerings, but really just getting clear on communicating what that is and just being consistent in that. And whenever the certification is out and running, like you can start to educate your audience now on what's coming, right? Like tease them. Again, this is like buyer sophistication and the different strategies and different levels of how people buy, but starting to educate them now and really starting to make your content shifting to like or at least adding into what your vision is, what you stand for. Right.
Mm.
So it's like, yes, of course, we want to identify the pain, we want to get them to pleasure, and then also sharing parts of you and what you stand for and what Karolina is about, what she's here to do to heal the collective and like make a massive impact. People are going to get behind that and feel into the energy of your vision. Does that make sense?
Beautiful. Thank you so much for acknowledging it. Yeah, I'm super excited about this vision and I really want to share it with the whole world. So thanks a lot for seeing that and for seeing me in my passion. It's really, really valuable for me. All right. So to wrap it up, I would love to ask you what's the best way to find you and see your content? And if someone wants to really dive deep with you or maybe even come for some coaching program or mentorship with you.
Yes. So if you head to my Instagram at Taibala.Rosner, you can quite honestly build a multiple 6 and 7 figure business just on my content alone. Like I put as much as I can out there for people to take action right away. So Taibala, Taibala.Rosner, Rosner, and have at it. Like, I love it. I share everything with you because I love you. I'm with you. I am you. And the more that we're empowered and the more that we're sharing our gifts with the world, the more that we are here to heal the collective, like the better that we are, we're stronger together. So have at it over there. My website is TaibalaRosner.com. I work with people in a one-on-one capacity. I'm actually only taking on about 2 people a month because I also have the Freedom Frequency Collective, which is my monthly membership, really beautiful container of conscious leaders, heart-centered leaders in the space that are going for it. I have many group offerings. I have one that I just birthed this morning, which is like so fucking juicy and beautiful that I'm so excited about. So stay tuned for that. But I also have Magnetic to Money, which is for anyone that's in between like the inconsistent $0 to $10,000 months. They're really looking to understand the strategy and the energetics of money. It's a beautiful group coaching program. That's like my signature one that's available. The Pleasure Portal, which is helping you redefine your relationship with pleasure, tap into your authentic expression, rewire your subconscious mind around receiving, whether that be money, relationship, any of that jazz is like just lights me up inside. But yeah, that's how you can work with me or just learn from me and or share just any resource, anything that you desire.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all that. I love how you said that I love you, I am you. This is exactly where we need to come from to know that we are all one and we're here to support
Mhm.
each other, not to compete, but just to collectively raise all together. So I absolutely loved it. Thank you so much, Taibala. It's been a beautiful conversation. I'm sure it was so helpful for everyone who listened. I'm so grateful that you agreed to be on our podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Karolina. It was such an honor and a privilege to chat with you. And I hope for this community that it gave you some helpful nuggets and just really inspired you to take action. Like that's really inspired action. Like once you start getting the wheels going, like you will see how capable you are of putting your gifts out there with the world, and the world needs it. So thank you so
Mm,
much.
thank you.